Daniel Cooper stood in the medical supply room, checking inventory on his tablet. The small space was quiet, a welcome break from the chaos of the diplomatic summit happening throughout Ara Station. He was just a junior medical officer on the human ship Horizon's Dawn, and this was supposed to be routine work. Count the supplies, update the records, and try not to get in anyone's way. The station was huge, bigger than any human structure in space. It belonged to the Aran Empire, one of the oldest civilizations in the galaxy. The Arans looked almost human, with pale blue skin and silver eyes that seemed to glow in certain light. They were hosting the first major summit between humanity and dozens of alien species. It was supposed to be a historic moment, proof that humans could work with the rest of the galaxy. Daniel heard the alarm before he felt the vibration through the floor. It was a piercing sound that meant medical emergency. His tablet beeped with an alert, and he read the message twice to make sure he understood it correctly. Someone important was dying. Someone very important. He ran toward the medical bay, his boots clanging on the metal floors. Other crew members were running too, but they were heading away from the emergency, toward the evacuation points. That should have worried him, but Daniel had taken an oath. When someone needed medical help, you went toward the problem, not away from it. The doors to the Aran medical bay opened with a hiss. Inside, it looked like a war zone. Alien doctors in flowing robes rushed between machines that Daniel barely recognized. The air smelled strange, like copper and something sweet he could not name. In the center of it all was a raised platform, and on that platform lay a young woman. She was Aran, with the same blue skin as the others, but she wore elaborate jewelry that marked her as royalty. Her breathing was shallow and fast. Machines around her beeped warnings in sounds that hurt Daniel's ears. He saw Ambassador Lawrence Mitchell standing near the platform, his face pale with worry. "Cooper, thank God," Mitchell said when he spotted Daniel. "We need every medical officer we have." "What happened?" Daniel asked, moving closer. He could see now that the woman's skin was turning darker, almost purple. That was not good. "Poison," said one of the Aran doctors, a tall male with elaborate markings on his face. "Princess was poisoned during the dinner. The toxin attacks the blood, destroys it from inside. We have tried everything. Nothing works." Daniel felt his stomach drop. A princess, the Emperor's daughter. "His only child," Mitchell said quietly. "If she dies here, during our summit, it could mean war. Some species will blame us just because we're new to galactic politics." The Aran doctor looked desperate. "She needs new blood, a complete transfusion, but there are no compatible donors on this station. Her blood type is rare even among our people. We sent for donors from but they will not arrive in time. She has perhaps 10 minutes left." 10 minutes? Daniel looked at the dying princess and felt something twist in his chest. She looked young, maybe his age. 25, 26 years old. Too young to die because someone put poison in her food. "Test my blood," Daniel said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at him. The Aran doctor's silver eyes went wide. "Your blood, human blood, that is impossible. Our species are too different. The biological compatibility would be 0. "Test it anyway," Daniel insisted. "What have you got to lose? If you do nothing, she dies. If you test me and it doesn't work, she still dies. But maybe, just maybe, it works." The doctor looked at Ambassador Mitchell, who nodded slowly. "Do it. We're out of options." They took Daniel's blood sample quickly. He watched as they put it into a machine that hummed and blinked with alien lights. The doctor stared at the screen, his expression unreadable. Then his eyes went even wider. "This is not possible," he whispered. "The compatibility is 78%. 78. I have never seen such a match between different species. Even among Arans, this would be considered excellent." The room went silent. Every alien in the medical bay was staring at Daniel now, and he felt suddenly very aware that he was the only human in the room. The only human who apparently had blood that could save an alien princess. "How much do you need?" Daniel asked. The doctor calculated quickly. Based on her size and the damage to her system, we would need approximately 4 liters. That is most of your blood volume. The procedure would be extremely dangerous for you. You could die. Daniel thought about that for exactly 3 seconds. He looked at the princess again, saw how her chest barely moved with each breath. He thought about the oath he took when he became a medical officer. First, do no harm. Second, help those who need it. She needed it. "Let's do it," Daniel said. "Cooper, wait," Mitchell started to say, but Daniel was already walking toward the platform. They set up 2 beds side by side. Daniel lay down on one and they moved the princess carefully to the other. Up close, he could see her face better. She had delicate features, high cheekbones, and those silver eyes that were now only half open. She was beautiful, even dying. The errand doctor worked quickly, setting up tubes and machines. "We will connect your circulatory systems directly. Your blood will flow into her body while we filter out the poisoned blood. It will take approximately 30 minutes. You will feel weak, perhaps lose consciousness. If anything goes wrong, we will stop immediately." "Don't stop," Daniel said. "No matter what, save her." The doctor met his eyes and nodded with respect. "You are very brave, or very foolish." "Maybe both," Daniel admitted. They inserted the needles. Daniel felt the sharp pain, then a strange pulling sensation as his blood began to flow out of his body and into the princess. He turned his head to watch her. For a long moment, nothing changed. Then slowly, her skin began to lighten. The dark purple faded to blue again. The machines around her changed their tone. The warning beeps became steadier, calmer. Her breathing deepened. The errand doctor checked his instruments and made a sound that might have been amazement or fear. "It is working," he said. "By all the ancient stars, it is actually working." Daniel felt dizzy. The room seemed to tilt sideways. He tried to focus on the princess, watching her chest rise and fall with stronger breaths. His own breathing felt harder, like he was trying to breathe through water. "How much more?" he asked, his voice sounding distant to his own ears. 2 more liters, the doctor said. "Are you able to continue?" Daniel's vision was getting dark around the edges. He felt cold, which was strange because the room was warm. "Keep going," he managed to say. The last thing he saw before the darkness took him was the princess's eyes opening. They were bright silver, like stars, and they were looking right at him. Then everything went black, and Daniel Cooper knew nothing at all. He did not see the princess reach out toward him. He did not hear her whisper something in her own language. He did not feel the moment when his heart rate dropped dangerously low, and the whole room erupted in panic. He was already gone, lost in the dark, his blood flowing into an alien princess who would remember this moment for the rest of her very long life. Daniel opened his eyes to white light. For a moment, he thought he was dead. Then the pain hit him, a deep ache that seemed to come from his bones themselves. He tried to sit up and immediately regretted it. "Easy there, hero," said a familiar voice. Appeared beside his bed, pushing him gently back down. She was a nurse on the Horizon's Dawn, someone Daniel had worked with for 2 years. Her red hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her green eyes were tired but relieved. "You've been out for 3 days. Your body needed time to recover." 3 days. Daniel's throat felt like sandpaper. Held a cup of water to his lips and he drank carefully. "The princess, did she?" "She's alive," said, smiling. "You saved her life, Daniel. The whole station is talking about it. The whole galaxy, actually." Daniel let that sink in. He had done it. The blood transfusion worked. A human had saved an alien princess with his own blood. It seemed impossible, like something from a story. "How is that possible?" he asked. "The doctor said our species were too different." Pulled up a chair and sat down. "Nobody knows. The Aaron medical team has been studying the data for 3 days straight. Your blood shouldn't have been compatible with hers, but it was, and not just a little bit. It was a nearly perfect match. They're calling it a miracle. Some are calling it something else. Something else. Some aliens think you did this on purpose somehow. That humans have been hiding advanced genetic technology. There's talk of conspiracies, of humans trying to infiltrate alien royalty through biological means. It's getting political, Daniel. Really political. Before Daniel could respond, the door opened. Ambassador Mitchell walked in, looking like he had not slept in days. Behind him was Aaron in formal robes, covered in symbols that Daniel did not recognize. "Mr. Cooper," Mitchell said formally, which was never a good sign. "I'm glad you're awake. This is High Physician. He's been overseeing both your recovery and the princess's." The Aaron bowed slightly. "You have done something unprecedented, human Daniel. You saved the life of our beloved princess. The Emperor himself has sent his gratitude across the stars." "I just did what anyone would do," Daniel said. "No," said firmly. "You did what no one else could do, and that is causing problems." Mitchell sat down heavily in another chair. "Daniel, I need you to understand the situation. The princess survived, which is good, but the way she survived has created a diplomatic nightmare. Half the galaxy thinks we engineered this somehow. The other half thinks we got lucky but wants to make sure it never happens again." "I don't understand," Daniel said. "I saved someone's life. How is that bad?" "Because human blood is now the most talked about substance in the galaxy," said quietly. "If it can save Aaron's, what about other species? What if human blood becomes a valuable commodity? What if other aliens start demanding transfusions? What if wars are fought over access to human donors?" Daniel felt sick, and not just from the blood loss. "That's insane. I just wanted to help." "We know," Mitchell said. "But the galaxy doesn't think like that. Every action has political implications. The Galactic Council has called an emergency session to discuss what your blood donation means for human-alien relations." High Physician looked uncomfortable. "There is something else. The princess has been asking for you. She woke yesterday and has requested your presence multiple times. I have delayed because you needed rest, but now that you are awake, she insists on seeing you immediately." "Why?" Daniel asked. Hesitated. "She says she can feel something different inside her. She wants to understand what happened." They took Daniel to the princess's chambers an hour later. He could walk but barely, came with him supporting his arm. The Aaron guards at the door looked at him with expressions he could not read. Fear, respect, maybe both. The room inside was beautiful. Soft light came from crystals embedded in the walls. Plants with silver leaves grew in elegant pots, and in the center, sitting on a chair that was almost a throne, was Princess. She looked much better than the last time Daniel saw her. Her blue skin had a healthy glow now. Her silver eyes were bright and alert. She wore simple robes, not the elaborate jewelry from before. When she saw Daniel, she stood up quickly, too quickly. She stumbled slightly, and Daniel instinctively moved forward to help. She caught herself and stared at her own hands. "Did you see that? I moved faster than I should. It keeps happening. Since I woke up, my body feels different, stronger, faster." "That might be normal for recovery," suggested, but she did not sound convinced. "No," the princess said firmly. She looked at Daniel directly. "It is not normal. High Physician has run tests. My cellular structure is changing. Your blood is not just keeping me alive. It is changing me at a molecular level." Daniel sat down carefully in the chair she offered. "What does that mean?" The princess sat across from him, studying his face like she was trying to memorize it. "It means that part of you is now part of me. Your blood cells are integrating with mine. They are not replacing my blood. They are joining with it, creating something new, something that has never existed before." "Is that dangerous?" Daniel asked, worried. "We do not know," she admitted. "This morning, I accidentally bent a metal railing during physical therapy. I broke it with my bare hands. Aarons are not that strong. But humans from Earth, from what I understand, You are incredibly strong compared to most species because of your harsh world. I'm not that strong, Daniel said. The princess smiled slightly. You are stronger than you think. Yesterday I could barely stand. Today I feel like I could run for hours. My physicians say my body is adapting to handle more stress, more gravity, more temperature changes. All human traits. Your blood is teaching my body to be more like yours. The door opened again. High Physician entered with several other errand doctors. They all looked excited and worried at the same time. Princess, we have completed more scans, said. The changes are accelerating. Your immune system is developing new capabilities. Your muscle density is increasing. Even your bone structure is becoming denser, stronger. At this rate, within a month, you will be physically superior to any Aaron who has ever lived. Superior, the princess asked, or different? Both admitted. Looked at Daniel with concern. This is bigger than we thought. If human blood can enhance other species permanently, the implications are enormous. Some will see this as a gift, the princess said quietly. Others will see it as a threat. My uncle Duke has already sent messages expressing his concern for Mai. He suggests I should be isolated, studied, to ensure I am still truly Aaron. Your uncle, Daniel asked. He is next in line for the throne if something happens to me, the princess explained. He has always been ambitious. The fact that I survived this assassination attempt does not please him, I think. Assassination, Daniel felt cold. You think it was deliberate? The poison was very specific, said. It was designed to kill someone with the princess's exact blood type, and it was timed to act during a diplomatic dinner with many witnesses. Someone wanted her dead in a way that would cause maximum political damage. Mitchell spoke up from the doorway where he had been standing quietly. We've been investigating. Security Chief Gregory Hayes is coordinating with Aaron authorities, but it's complicated. If we accuse the wrong person, we could start a war. The princess stood and walked to a window that looked out over the station. Daniel could see ships docked at various ports, vessels from dozens of different worlds. My father sent me here to represent our empire at this summit, to show that we are open to working with new species like humans. Someone does not want that. Someone wants conflict instead of cooperation. She turned back to Daniel. You saved my life when you did not have to. You risked everything for a stranger, for someone from a different world. That is what I feel inside me now. Not just your blood, but your courage. Your human instinct to protect others even at great personal cost. Daniel felt his face get hot. I just did what felt right. Exactly, the princess said. And that is what terrifies some people. If humans will sacrifice themselves for aliens they just met, what else will they do? How do you negotiate with people who choose morality over politics? Before anyone could respond, alarms started blaring throughout the station. Checked her tablet and her face went pale. Security alert, she said. Someone just tried to break into the medical records room. They were trying to steal samples of Daniel's blood. The princess and Daniel looked at each other. Whatever had started with a simple blood transfusion was now spinning into something much bigger. And somewhere on this station, someone was willing to kill to control what happened next. Security Chief Gregory Hayes was a big man with hair and eyes that missed nothing. He met Daniel, and in a secure conference room 2 levels below the medical bay. Ambassador Mitchell was already there, along with 3 Aaron security officers. The intruder got away, Hayes said without preamble. But we have him on camera, Aaron male, wearing maintenance worker clothing. He used legitimate access codes to enter the medical wing, which means someone on the inside helped him. One of the Aaron officers brought up an image on the wall screen. It showed a blue-skinned figure in dark clothes, moving quickly through a corridor. The quality was poor, but Daniel could see determination in the way the person moved. We found traces of blood samples missing from storage, Hayes continued. 3 vials of your blood, Cooper, along with tissue samples and genetic analysis records. Whoever took them knows exactly what they're looking for. But why? Daniel asked. What are they going to do with my blood? Mitchell leaned forward. That's what worries us. If someone can replicate what happened with the princess, they could use human blood as a weapon, or a bargaining chip, or start breeding programs. The possibilities are disturbing. Crossed her arms. You're talking about turning humans into livestock, blood farms. Some species would see it that way, Hayes admitted. Others would offer anything for access to genetic enhancement. Human blood could become the most valuable substance in the galaxy, and we'd become targets. The door opened and Princess entered, followed by two of her own guards. She had changed into more formal attire, clothes that marked her clearly as royalty. But she moved differently now, with a confidence and strength that seemed almost human. I apologize for entering unannounced, she said, but this concerns me directly. Have you identified who is behind the theft? Hayes glanced at the errand officers, who nodded slightly. We have suspicions, Your Highness. The access codes used belong to staff connected to Duke's household. The princess's expression hardened. My uncle, I suspected as much. What evidence do you have? Circumstantial so far, one of the errand officers said. But we are investigating. The Duke has been very vocal about his concerns regarding your transformation. He has petitioned the Emperor to have you examined by off-world physicians. He wants me declared unfit, the princess said flatly. If I am no longer considered truly Aaron, I cannot inherit the throne. He becomes next in line. Daniel felt anger rising in his chest. So he tried to kill you, and when that didn't work, he's trying to steal my blood to prove you've been contaminated somehow. That would be my guess, Hayes said, but proving it is another matter. Duke is careful. He has political connections throughout the Empire. We need solid evidence before we can move against him. The princess walked to the window, looking out at the stars beyond the station. My father trusts his brother. They grew up together, fought in the border wars side by side. If I accuse without proof, it will tear our family apart. It could split the empire. Then we find proof, said firmly. We track down whoever took those blood samples and make them talk. It is not that simple, one of the errand officers said. The person in the video has not been identified yet. He could be anywhere on this station, which houses over 50,000 beings from dozens of species. Daniel thought for a moment. What about the poison, the one used on the princess? Can you trace where it came from? Hayes nodded slowly. Good thinking. We've been analyzing it. The toxin is rare, manufactured only on 2 planets. One of them is within Aaron territory. We've requested purchase records, but it will take time. Time we may not have, Mitchell said. The Galactic Council session starts in 2 days. Human status in the galaxy will be decided based partly on what happened here. If Duke presents evidence that we deliberately altered the princess as some kind of experiment, it could turn every species against us. The princess turned back from the window. Then I will speak at the council. I will tell them the truth about what happened. With respect, Your Highness, Hayes said carefully, you're not exactly an objective witness anymore. Some will say the human blood has affected your thinking, made you loyal to humans over your own people. That is ridiculous, the princess said, but Daniel could see the worry in her eyes. She knew Hayes was right. What about Daniel? Suggested. He's the one who gave the blood. Let him speak. Let people see he's just a regular person who tried to help. Mitchell shook his head. That could backfire. Some species will see his actions as suspicious precisely because they seem too altruistic. In galactic politics, nobody does anything without an agenda. Then humans really are different, Daniel said quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. If other species can't understand helping someone just because it's the right thing to do, maybe we need to show them. Not tell them, show them. The princess moved closer to him. What do you mean? Daniel stood up, feeling steadier now. How many people on this station need medical help right now? How many have conditions that human medicine might be able to treat? Not blood transfusions, just regular medical care. Let me work. Let me help people. Show the galaxy that humans don't have some secret agenda. We just try to fix problems when we see them. Hayes considered this. It could work. If you're publicly helping people from different species, it's harder to paint you as a threat. But it is also dangerous, the princess said, concerned. If Duke is behind this, he will see you as an obstacle. You become a target. I'm already a target, Daniel pointed out. Someone tried to steal my blood. At least this way, I'm doing something useful while we figure out who's behind everything. The next several hours were busy. Daniel, with help, set up a temporary human medical clinic in one of the station's public areas. Word spread quickly. Within a day, beings from a dozen different species were lining up for treatment. Daniel treated a merchant with a respiratory infection, using human antibiotics that worked better than local medicine. He helped a young child with a broken limb, applying techniques he learned in medical school. He advised the elderly about managing chronic pain with methods that humans had perfected over centuries. Each patient was different. Each one required Daniel to think creatively, to adapt human medical knowledge to alien biology. It was challenging and exhausting, but also deeply satisfying. And people noticed. News crews from multiple galactic networks set up cameras near the clinic. They broadcast images of Daniel Cooper, the human who saved the princess, now helping ordinary people from across the galaxy. No payment required. No political demands, just medicine freely given. The princess visited him on the second day. She brought food, making sure Daniel ate between patients. She had taken to checking on him every few hours, something that did not go unnoticed by the growing crowds of observers. "You are making quite an impression," she said, sitting beside him during a brief break. "3 different ambassadors have contacted my father's court, asking about formal medical exchange programs with humanity." "That's good, right?" Daniel asked, too tired to think about politics. "It depends on who you ask," the princess said. "My uncle sees it as humans spreading influence through medical dependency. Others see it as the beginning of genuine cooperation. The debate is fierce." "What do you see?" Daniel asked. She was quiet for a moment. "I see someone who acts according to his nature. You save people because that is what you do, not because of politics or profit, just because you can. It is a very human thing, I think." "Maybe," Daniel said. "Or maybe it's just what anyone should do if they have the ability to help." "That is the difference," the princess said softly. "Most species in the galaxy think about cost and benefit first. You think about need first. That is why your blood saved me. Not just the biology, but the intent behind the action. You gave everything to save a stranger. That kind of selflessness leaves a mark, Daniel. In me, yes, but also in everyone who learns about what happened." Before Daniel could respond, Hayes appeared in the doorway of the clinic. His expression was grim. "We found him," Hayes said. "The person who stole the blood samples. He's agreed to talk, but only to you, Cooper. Both of you, actually. He says he has information about who's really behind the assassination attempt, and it's not who we think." Daniel and the princess exchanged glances. They stood together and followed Hayes to a secure holding cell deep in the station's security section. Inside, restrained and looking terrified, was the Aaron they had seen on the security footage. "My name is," the prisoner said quickly. "I work for Duke, yes, but not by choice. He has my family, my mate and children. He said he would kill them if I did not steal the blood samples." "Why does he want them?" the princess demanded. "To give to the hegemony," said, and the room went cold. They were a warrior species, aggressive and territorial. They had been opposed to human inclusion in galactic affairs from the start. The Duke made a deal. He provides proof that humans are genetically altering other species, and to provide military support for his claim to the throne. Hayes swore quietly. Mitchell looked like he might be sick. "That is treason," the princess said, her voice shaking with anger. "He would betray the Empire for personal power." "There is more," said desperately. "The fleet is already on its way. They will arrive in less than a day. They plan to demand you be surrendered, Your Highness. They call you an abomination, a creature corrupted by human biology. If the station refuses, they will attack." Daniel felt his blood run cold. "How many ships?" 12 warships, whispered. "This station cannot stand against them. They will destroy everything to prove their point about human interference." The princess looked at Daniel, and he saw fear in her silver eyes for the first time. Not for herself, he realized. For him. For all the humans on the station. For the innocent people in the clinic who trusted him to help them. "Then we have less than a day to prepare," Daniel said, surprised by how calm his voice sounded. "And we need a plan." Emergency session of the Galactic Council convened in the station's largest chamber. Representatives from 47 different species sat in a circular arrangement, each in their designated section. Humans had only 3 seats, a sign of their junior status in galactic affairs. Daniel sat in the gallery watching as Ambassador Mitchell took his place with the other human delegates. Duke sat with the Aaron delegation. He was older than the princess, with darker blue skin and eyes that reminded Daniel of ice, cold and calculating. The Duke had arrived hours earlier with a fleet of 6 ships, claiming he was there to protect his niece's interests. The council speaker, a tall being from the ancient elder species, raised one multi-jointed arm. "This session addresses urgent matters regarding human integration into galactic civilization. Specifically, the incident involving Princess of the Aaron Empire and Lieutenant Daniel Cooper of the human vessel Horizon's Dawn." Duke stood immediately. "Honored Council, I bring evidence of human biological interference in Aaron affairs. My niece was deliberately altered using experimental human genetic material. This represents a violation of the Natural Species Accord." Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Natural Species Accord was one of the galaxy's oldest laws, forbidding genetic manipulation of other species without explicit consent and oversight. "That's a lie," Daniel said loudly before Mitchell could stop him. Every eye in the chamber turned toward him. "The princess was dying. I gave her my blood to save her life. That's all." "Silence," the speaker commanded. "You will have your chance to speak, human." Duke smiled slightly. "The human admits he gave blood that altered my niece at a cellular level. Whether his intentions were noble or not does not change the fact that Princess is no longer fully Aaron. She has been compromised, perhaps permanently." The princess stood from her own seat in the gallery. "Uncle, I am right here. Ask me if I feel compromised." "Sit down, child," said dismissively. "You are too close to this situation to judge objectively. The human blood has clearly affected your judgment." "No," the princess said firmly, moving down to the chamber floor. Guards moved to stop her, but the speaker waved them back. "I will speak. This council will hear the truth." She walked to the center of the chamber, standing tall. Daniel could see the change in her posture, the strength in her movements. She was different from the dying woman he had saved, but also more herself somehow. "4 days ago I was poisoned," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. "The toxin was designed specifically to kill someone with my blood type. It would have succeeded if not for Lieutenant Cooper. He volunteered his blood when no one else could help. He nearly died saving my life." "And in doing so," interrupted, "he altered you in ways we still do not understand. You are stronger, faster, more aggressive. These are human traits, not Aaron ones. How do we know this was not planned? How do we know the poison itself was not part of a human plot to infiltrate our royal family?" "Because that's insane," Daniel said, standing up despite trying to pull him back down. "I'm a junior medical officer. I count supplies and run basic diagnostics. I don't run secret genetic experiments. I just saw someone dying and tried to help." A representative from the delegation stood. He was large and covered in thick scales, with eyes that glowed red. The human simplicity may be genuine. That makes him more dangerous, not less. Humans act on emotion rather than logic. They interfere in matters that do not concern them. This princess is proof of their reckless nature. Reckless, princess' voice took on an edge Daniel had not heard before. "He saved my life. What part of that is reckless?" "The part where he changed you forever without considering the consequences," said. "My dear niece, I understand you feel gratitude. But can you honestly say you are the same person you were before? Can you say with certainty that the human blood flowing through your veins has not altered your thoughts, your loyalties, your very identity?" The princess opened her mouth to answer, then stopped. Daniel saw doubt flicker across her face. She looked at her hands, strong hands that had broken metal without meaning to. "I will answer that," said a new voice. High Physician entered the chamber carrying several data tablets. "I am the chief medical authority who treated Princess. I have monitored her condition constantly since the transfusion. Yes, her body has changed. Her cellular structure now incorporates human traits, but her brain chemistry, her neural patterns, her fundamental personality all remain Aaron. She is not being controlled or influenced by the human blood. She is simply adapting to new capabilities." "Adapting," the representative said mockingly. "You mean mutating, becoming something neither human nor Aaron, an abomination." Daniel felt anger surge through him. "Don't call her that." "Why not human? That is what you created, a hybrid creature that should not exist." "I created nothing," Daniel shot back. "I saved someone, there's a difference." Ambassador Mitchell finally managed to speak. "Honored Counsel, may I present additional testimony? Dr. Lane, our chief medical officer, has prepared a full analysis of what occurred." Dr. Lane, a stern woman with hair pulled back severely, stepped forward with her own data. The compatibility between Lieutenant Cooper's blood and Princess was a statistical anomaly. 1 in several billion. We could not have predicted it or engineered it. The fact that it worked at all is extraordinary. The fact that it has enhanced the princess is, frankly, beyond our current understanding of genetics. "Then you admit humans do not understand what they have done," said triumphantly. "I admit we are learning," Dr. Lane corrected, "as is all of science. But I can state categorically that there was no conspiracy, no plan, no attempt to alter Princess. This was emergency medicine, nothing more." The representative slammed a fist on his desk. "The intent does not matter. The result is what matters. Humans have proven they are a biological threat. Their very blood can change other species. They must be contained, controlled, or removed from galactic civilization." "That's enough," Princess said, and something in her voice made everyone stop. She stood, her silver eyes blazing. "You want to know if I have changed? Yes, I have. I am stronger now, faster, more resilient, and I am grateful for those gifts, but I am still Aaron. I still love my people. I still serve my empire. Lieutenant Cooper did not take anything from me. He gave me a second chance at life." She turned to face the representative directly. "And if you think that makes me an abomination, then perhaps the real problem is not with humans or with me. Perhaps the problem is with species who cannot accept change, who fear anything different from themselves. Humans are new to the galaxy, yes, but they bring something we desperately need: the willingness to take risks to save others, the courage to act when action is needed, not to calculate endlessly and do nothing." "Bold words," said coldly, "but words do not change facts. You are no longer suitable to inherit the throne. The council must see that." Security Chief Hayes had been standing at the back of the chamber. Now he moved forward, holding a data pad. "Actually, Duke, I think the council needs to see some other facts, such as the purchase records showing that you acquired the poison used on the princess, or the communications between your staff and the military, or the testimony of your agent who confessed to stealing human blood samples on your orders. The chamber erupted in noise. His face went dark with rage. That is a lie, a conspiracy by humans to discredit me. Is it? Hayes continued calmly. Because we also have evidence that you arranged this entire crisis. You poisoned your own niece, knowing her rare blood type would make saving her nearly impossible. You wanted her to die in a way that would create political chaos, allowing you to seize power in the confusion. What you did not expect was that a human would be compatible. That ruined your plan. Prove it, demanded. You have no proof. We have confession, Hayes said. We have financial records. We have intercepted communications. And we have this. He held up a data chip. A recording from the dinner where the princess was poisoned. Our technicians enhanced the footage. You can clearly see Duke's servant adding something to the princess's drink. The speaker demanded the footage be shown. The chamber screens lit up with the dinner scene. Daniel watched as a figure in servant's clothing moved behind the princess's chair, making a subtle gesture over her cup. The image was enhanced, showing clearly that the servant worked for Duke. Stood frozen, his cold eyes darting around the chamber. This proves nothing. That servant acted alone. I had no knowledge of his actions. Your servant has already confessed, Hayes said. He named you specifically. He's willing to testify that you ordered the assassination in exchange for immunity. The representative stood abruptly. This is a human manipulation. They fabricate evidence to divide our alliance against them. Alliance, Princess said sharply. What alliance? The realized his mistake too late. The speaker leaned forward. You claim there is an alliance between your people and Duke against human integration. Before they could answer, alarms began screaming throughout the station. The screens changed, showing space outside the station. 12 warships with markings dropped out of faster-than-light travel, taking up attack positions around the station. A message came through on all channels. The commander's voice was harsh and filled with contempt. Our station, you harbor an abomination and protect human infiltrators. Surrender Princess and all humans aboard, or we will destroy your station. You have 1 hour to comply. The chamber descended into chaos. Representatives shouted over each other. Duke smiled, seeing his plan coming together despite the evidence against him. The princess looked at Daniel across the chamber, and he saw fear in her eyes. Not fear of dying, fear of being helpless to stop what was coming. Daniel made his way down to the chamber floor, pushing through the panicking crowd. He reached the princess and took her hand. She gripped it tightly, her new strength evident in the pressure. What do we do? She asked quietly. Daniel looked at the screens showing the massive warships surrounding the station. He thought about all the innocent people on board, the patients he had treated, and Mitchell and Hayes. Thousands of beings who had nothing to do with galactic politics but would die because of them. We don't surrender, he said. We fight, and we show the galaxy what humans do when innocent people are threatened. We protect them. The princess studied his face. You have a plan. The beginning of one, Daniel admitted. But I'm going to need your help, and we'll need to trust each other completely. She nodded once, firm and decisive. Then let us begin. Station's command center was pure chaos. Officers from a dozen species shouted over each other, trying to coordinate a defense they knew was hopeless. 12 warships against a civilian station with minimal weapons. It was not a battle, it was an execution. Daniel stood beside Princess at the main tactical display, with Hayes and Mitchell flanking them. Was helping coordinate the evacuation of civilians to the most protected areas of the station. But everyone knew there was nowhere truly safe if they opened fire. We have 42 minutes left, the station commander said. He was an Aran admiral named Old and Experienced. I have requested reinforcements from every nearby fleet, but the closest ships are 3 hours away. We need to buy time. How? Mitchell asked. We can't fight them directly. No, but we can talk, Princess said. They want me. I can offer to negotiate, stall them until help arrives. They will just take you and still destroy the station, Daniel said. That's what people like this do. They don't negotiate in good faith. The princess turned to him. Then what do you suggest? Daniel looked at the tactical display, thinking. The ships were in a standard attack formation, surrounding the station completely. No way to escape, no way to slip through. But something about their positioning bothered him. They're too confident, he said slowly. Look at their formation. They've left their flanks exposed because they don't think we can threaten them. Hayes studied the display. You're right. They're treating this like target practice, not a real fight. Their shields are at minimum power to conserve energy. Because they think they won't need them, Daniel said. What if we prove them wrong? With what weapons? Admiral asked tiredly. We have 6 defensive guns designed to deter pirates, not military warships. We might damage one ship before they obliterate us. Princess touched the display, zooming in on one of the smaller vessels docked at the station. What about the racing ships, the ones brought for the exhibition yesterday? Daniel looked at what she was pointing to. 5 small, fast ships designed for racing between planets. They were made to be quick and maneuverable, not to fight. But they had powerful engines and could reach incredible speeds. Are you thinking what I think you're thinking? Hayes asked the princess. Daniel needs someone who can pilot in combat conditions, she said. Someone with reflexes fast enough to avoid weapons. Someone who can withstand high G-forces and extreme maneuvers. You, Daniel said, understanding. Your new abilities, you could handle those conditions now. It's too dangerous, Mitchell protested. You're the princess. You can't just throw yourself into a suicide mission. What choice do I have? She asked. Sit here and let innocent people die to protect me. That is not who I am. It is definitely not who I am becoming. Admiral pulled up data on the racing ships. Even if you could pilot one effectively, what would you do? Ram a warship. You would die and accomplish nothing. Not if we coordinate, Daniel said, an idea forming. The racing ships have sensor arrays for navigation. What if we use them to pinpoint weak spots in the shields, target their weapons systems and engines? Not to destroy them, just to disable enough of them to even the odds. That would require incredible precision flying, said, and someone to coordinate targeting in real time. Someone who could track multiple ships simultaneously and predict their movements. Daniel looked at the princess. What did you say before? That you can feel something different inside you. Can you feel me, our connection from the blood? She hesitated, then nodded. Yes, I feel your presence like an echo in my mind. I thought I was imagining it. You're not, Daniel said. Dr. Lane mentioned something about neural patterns. What if our connection goes deeper than just blood? What if we can communicate directly? Arrived then, overhearing the last part. Are you suggesting telepathy? That's never been documented between different species. Nothing about this has been documented, Daniel said. But if it works, the princess could pilot while I coordinate targeting from here. We could work together like one person in 2 places. That's impossible, Mitchell said. Saving her life was impossible, Daniel countered. Her body adapting was impossible. All of this is impossible, but it's happening anyway. The princess moved closer to Daniel, close enough that he could see the silver flecks in her eyes. Try it. Try to reach out to me through whatever connection we share. Daniel closed his eyes and thought about her. Not just what she looked like, but how she felt. The determination he had sensed when she woke from the transfusion. The courage she showed facing the council. The fear he saw in her eyes when they arrived. He focused on those feelings, trying to send them back to her. Princess gasped. I felt that, your emotions, clear as if they were my own. This is real, Daniel. We can do this. Admiral looked between them. Even if this works, 5 racing ships against 12 warships is still hopeless odds. Then we make the odds better, Hayes said. We've been treating this like we're defending. What if we attack first? Use those 40 minutes to hit them before they expect it." "The station can't attack," said. "No, but I can," said a new voice. Ambassador Mitchell was reading something on his tablet, and his expression had changed from worried to determined. "I just received authorization from Earth Command. The Horizon's Dawn is a diplomatic vessel, but it has weapons for emergencies, and this qualifies as an emergency." "One ship and 5 racers against 12 warships," said. "Still bad odds." "6 racers," Princess corrected. "I need someone with me, someone who understands human tactics and can handle the physical stress." "I'll go," Daniel said immediately. "No," the princess said firmly. "You need to coordinate from here. I need someone else. You're trained in combat medicine. That includes emergency response under high-stress conditions, yes?" Blinked in surprise. "Yes, but I'm not a pilot." "You don't need to be. I will pilot. You will manage systems and provide tactical support. Most importantly, you will make sure I stay conscious if the G-forces become too much." Looked at Daniel, who nodded. "Okay," she said, taking a deep breath. "I'm in." The next 30 minutes were frantic preparation. Princess and took the fastest racing ship, while 4 pilots from different species volunteered to fly the others. The Horizon's Dawn undocked and began moving into position. Admiral coordinated the station's minimal defenses. Daniel stood at the command center's communication station, a neural link headset adapted for the connection he shared with the princess. He could feel her now, a constant presence at the back of his mind. Her nervousness, her determination, her trust in him. "All ships, this is Admiral. The deadline is in 12 minutes. We will not be surrendering. We will be showing them that threatening innocent people has consequences. Follow the racing ship with the princess. She will lead the attack. The Horizon's Dawn will provide covering fire. Make every shot count. For your homes, for your families, for the galaxy we want to build together. Fight well." The racing ships launched, and Daniel felt the acceleration through his link with the princess. She was pushing the ship hard, faster than any Aaron should be able to handle. But her body, enhanced by human blood, handled it easily. "I have them on sensors," the princess said, her voice coming through both the communication channel and directly into Daniel's mind. "The lead ship is their flagship. Heavy armor, but I can see weak points near their engine ports." Daniel pulled up the tactical display, seeing through her sensors. "There, the heat dissipation vents. If you can hit those with concentrated fire, it will force them to drop to sublight speeds." "I see it," she said. Daniel felt her confidence grow. "Coming around for attack run." The princess pushed the racing ship into a steep dive toward the flagship. Weapons fire erupted from the warship, but she was too fast, too unpredictable. She wove between energy beams with reflexes that seemed impossible. His voice came through the link, steady despite the extreme conditions. "G-forces at 7 times standard. Princess's vitals are stable, proceeding with attack." The racing ship fired, a concentrated burst of energy that struck the flagship's heat vents perfectly. Alarms blared on the warship as systems overloaded. The flagship began to slow, exactly as Daniel predicted. "It worked," Admiral said, amazement in his voice. "The flagship is disabled." But the other 11 ships were responding now. They broke formation, trying to surround the racing ships and the Horizon's Dawn. The battle became a chaotic swirl of ships and weapons fire. Daniel coordinated through his link with the princess, seeing the battle from her perspective and feeding her targeting data. The other racing ships followed her lead, striking at weak points Daniel identified. The Horizon's Dawn provided heavy fire support, its weapons more powerful than expected for a diplomatic vessel. A destroyer managed to land a hit on one of the racing ships. The pilot ejected just before it exploded, floating in space until the station's emergency retrieval units could grab them. Now they were down to 5 ships. Daniel, I need targeting on the ship directly above us, the princess said. It's trying to position for a kill shot on the horizon's dawn. Daniel studied the tactical display through their shared connection. He could feel the princess's hands on the controls, her heart beat fast but steady. He saw what she saw, understood her perspective. Roll left, dive 20 degrees. There's an opening in their shield coverage. Fire on my mark. She moved exactly as he directed. Their timing was perfect, their coordination absolute. The racing ship's weapons struck the destroyer's shield gap, penetrating to hit the weapons array. The destroyer's guns went offline, explosions rippling across its hull. 2 ships disabled, Hayes reported. But we're running out of time. The other ships are concentrating fire on the racing ships. They've figured out the princess is the key to our defense. Daniel felt a spike of fear through the link. Not from him, from the princess. 3 ships were converging on her position, all firing simultaneously. Too many weapons, too much firepower to avoid. I can't evade all of them, the princess said, her voice calm despite the danger. Daniel, it's been an honor. No, Daniel said firmly. You don't give up. That's the most human thing I taught you. We find a way. He looked at the tactical display desperately, trying to see an escape route. There wasn't one, unless... Daniel said urgently, how much power can you divert from life support? Almost all of it, responded immediately. We can survive maybe 10 minutes without it. Do it, feed everything into the engines and shields. Princess, I need you to trust me. Accelerate directly toward the flagship, full power. That's suicide, Mitchell said. No, Daniel said, seeing the path clearly now through his connection with the princess. It's the one thing they won't expect. They think we're trying to survive. We're going to attack their command ship while it's disabled. They'll have to choose between destroying us or protecting their flagship. The princess hesitated for only a second. Then Daniel felt her resolve harden. I trust you. The racing ship accelerated at impossible speed, straight toward the heart of the formation. The 3 ships that were converging stopped, confused by the sudden change in direction. The princess pushed the ship faster, approaching speeds that should have torn it apart. G-forces at 15 times standard, reported, her voice strained. This is beyond safe limits. Hold on, the princess said, and Daniel felt her strength through their link. The human endurance she had gained, combined with her errand determination. She could handle this. The ships realized too late what was happening. They broke formation, trying to intercept before the racing ship reached their flagship. But they were too slow, and the flagship's shields were still down from the earlier damage. At the last possible second, the princess pulled up sharply, rolling the ship and firing every weapon at the flagship's exposed bridge. The shot struck home perfectly. Daniel watched through their shared connection as the flagship's command center exploded in a brilliant flash. The fleet fell into disarray. Without their commander, the other ships hesitated, uncertain. That moment of confusion was enough. Reinforcements have arrived, Admiral announced. Multiple fleets from the Galactic Council. They are withdrawing. Daniel felt relief flood through him, echoed by the princess's emotions across their link. She brought the racing ship back to the station, her hands shaking slightly now that the adrenaline was fatting. When she climbed out of the cockpit, Daniel was waiting. They looked at each other and words seemed unnecessary. She had survived. They had won. But more than that, they had proven something. 6 months later, Daniel received an emergency call from a colony on the frontier. An alien child was dying, and preliminary tests suggested human blood might be compatible. He sat in his quarters on the new human medical ship, specially designed to bring help to those who needed it most. His tablet showed a message from Princess. She had become an ambassador, traveling the galaxy to promote cooperation between species. Their connection remained, a constant presence at the back of his mind. They could speak across light years through that bond, sharing thoughts and feelings. Another child who needs help, Her voice came through his mind, warm and concerned. "Yes," Daniel thought back, "I'm heading there now. I'll meet you there. This is what we do now, Daniel. We show the galaxy what's possible when we choose to help rather than fear." Daniel smiled and prepared to board the transport. The galaxy was still a dangerous place, still filled with species who feared change and distrusted humans. But there were also those who saw what he and the princess had proven, that biological barriers could be overcome, that courage and compassion could change the course of civilizations. He had given his blood to save a dying princess, and in doing so had given humanity something even more valuable. A place in the galaxy earned not through conquest or technology, but through the simple human act of helping someone in need. As the transport lifted off, Daniel felt the princess's presence in his mind, supporting him across the void of space. They were connected now, human and alien, proof that the galaxy's future would be built not on fear, but on hope. And somewhere, in a medical bay on a distant colony, a child waited for help that was finally on the way.